up, everybody? It's an alternate Thursday night, and you know what that means. It's After the Roll. I am your host, Clan Diesel. Joining me here are these, as Lady Chaotic put it, lovely people. We have, of course, Lady Chaotic. I just mentioned her name. Of course, she's here. And then joining me as well, we have the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, the controller of all monsters, and the lord of our world, Dr. Diz DM. What up, Diz?
Hi.
No pressure. Also joining us tonight, we have Double Aunt Buck, the Admiral himself. What up, Buck?
Well, that could have been better, but I'll take it.
You're not the lord of this world, you're the lord of another world.
Oh no, I wasn't talking about that. You hesitated
a couple
on what
streams under his
was.
belt, and his ego goes straight to his head.
Exactly. Just so you DM one episode, and damn.
It ain't got nothing to do with DM. It has to do with the fact that you paused on what you called me.
Fired.
Also joining us tonight, Timmy Turbo.
Hello.
Yes, thank you for the follow, 50 Cent Dizzle. Appreciate it. So, if you're wondering, hey, there's more than 3 people on this Thursday night thing. What is this? Well, this is After the Roll, where we talk about what happened on last Saturday's D&D campaign, Not Actually Heroes Cataclysm, which you can check. Exclamation NerdTube. Hopefully it works. Don't know. And check out past episodes of that. Yeah, I did. I'm sorry, I'm having little mini strokes. This is our first After the Roll on the new channel.
It is the first one.
So we're still, kicking the tires and lighting said fires.
Very excited.
50 points for you if you remember what movie that is from.
50 points to Slytherin.
Ooh, pick me.
Buck, what movie is that?
And it's not an Air Force movie.
That is true. It's not an Air Force movie. Those guys are Navy.
Top Gun.
Much like Double
actually
himself.
Actually, kicking tires and lighting the fires is Independence Day, Clan.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Yeah, question the
I feel the need for speed is Top Gun.
It's Top Gun.
Yep.
It's Independence Day.
So note to self, mute Buck on opening so he doesn't make you look like an ass. Got it. All right. So we're here to talk D&D, not movies. That's a different show.
Facts.
All right. So as always, we start After the Roll with everybody's favorite segment involving Diz, discussions.
Animation.
All right, cool. I'll take your word for it. All right, Diz, are you ready for some hard-hitting investigative journalism?
Yes.
Please.
Please
Go somewhere else. This is not that, my friend.
I was hooked right into that one.
I brought you up to let you down. There's a cushion, so it's not, won't hurt too bad. It'll only hurt for a little while. So, first question. And this is kind of a unique question because we had a kind of a unique experience this time. And I say that because this episode that we had last Saturday was one of those rare stabby episodes, and that's what happened. There was a lot of stabby. It began with a lot of oohing and awing, and then there was running and screaming.
It was excellent.
It was
running
excellent.
And screaming,
Yep. Professional screamers is what we are. So it was also Timmy's first encounter playing his character. Now, since this was his first encounter, you as the DM, do you do anything special? Do you put a little more pizzazz on it? Do you have special things happen to his character that you wouldn't normally have do just to kind of get him hooked in to playing his character?
No, not really. I don't try to
Oh,
I don't try to just cater the encounter just to that one character.
you
But
heard that here, chat. No one is special.
I try to kill everybody equally.
What?
Does that count?
That counts. That works. There's no favorites. Everyone has an equal chance of death. All right. I didn't know. I thought maybe, you would have, something fun for Timmy, but maybe next time. Maybe next time his character will be on the rain slick precipice of death.
I mean, sometimes there are combat encounters that are specific to a player's storyline, but this was just that character entering the campaign. Pretty much.
Gotcha. All right. So, as I said before, this was an all battle episode. 4 hours of Stabby McStabberson. So, is there anything different that you do as the DM for an all battle episode? Like, do you prepare for it differently than you do a normal episode? Do you already have it in your head that this is going to be a 4-hour battle? Or is it just like complete surprise that it went that long?
So we've experienced these things in the past, battles that run really long. I think in the last campaign we had a battle that lasted like at least 1.5 sessions.
Yep.
It was just, it just went on and on. It had multi phases. This group is a larger group, and I kind of expect battle just to run longer, and there was more targets on the map. So I didn't expect it to go that long, especially when I felt like everybody turned and was trying to run away, which I thought was pretty much instantaneous. It was like from the beginning, it was like, fuck, we gotta get out of here. So, so I didn't think it was, I thought we were gonna get into some more of the story stuff, but it didn't happen that way. There was a lot of just mishaps and funny moments, and some really strategic gameplay there to keep everybody alive. I enjoyed it, even though it was all battle. I think there was a lot of role play in the battle itself, so it it's kind of best of both worlds on that one. So preparing for it, no, just like for any battle, I try to like write out what the enemies would do. Like here's primarily what they would do. Like some of the ones that are more simple, they're just gonna run at you and hit you, and if whether they have the intelligence enough to run away and try to preserve their own life or not. So this group of creatures was more of a hive mind, so they kind of almost acted like one entity. So losing one creature wasn't the end of the world. It's like, it's like you've got a cut on your hand or something, one of the creatures falling. So so they were just going to kind of keep coming at them. So I don't know, I thought it was a balanced fight. I might have been rolling a little too well, and so it kind of leaned in my direction a little bit. But preparing for it, no, I basically prepared enough content so that if they got out of it, we would have more stuff to do.
Okay. All right. So nothing special about a battle episode. It just kind of happens naturally.
Yeah.
And then you just let it roll.
Basically, because I even in battle, I don't know what you guys are gonna do. So
fair. Neither do we. All right. Well, that's all for discussions. Let's take us back to the players.
Short and sweet.
Yep, short and sweet. Well, that's the problem, chat. So I'll make these questions ahead of time, right? And I have them in my Google Docs, and you'll see me look at them from time to time. Normally, with one of our episodes, and not actually Heroes Cataclysm, here on twitch.tv/Nerdocopia Network, there's a lot more role play. So there's a lot more chances for me to ask questions about what the character did, or how the story goes, or why Diz did this, why Diz did that, why did Diz try to kill JD for the 80th time, why is Dara spitting up hairballs, things like that. but this one was a Stabby McStabberson episode. So there's not a lot to draw from. So sorry that discussions was so short. I shall try to make it up in the player discussion portion of the episode. All right. So now that we're on the player discussion part, let's begin with what I have entitled JD's Great Escape.
Yes,
And the reason I call this is because one, it was literally JD going around trying to, it's like, if we're going to do this, let's get the hell out of here. And then two, Buck has told us on numerous occasions he had a plan. He had a way to get everybody out if everybody would just follow along and listen to instructions.
Buck Loki became Tinkerbell that episode.
He did. So Buck, explain to everyone what was JD's Great Escape.
So when JD and Huck were in Isley's workshop and the episode before, and they got into a knockdown drag out with a Warforged, and poor JD got the hell beat out of him by both. He ended up acquiring Dust of Disappearance, which said anything within 10 feet of me when I threw it into the air went invisible. So the problem with my plan on one aspect was Huck was in another room and Prugwin was not with the team initially. So I didn't get to get them all in one shot. But I knew that even though I was tied up in a restrained state by a vine, I had enough room to Misty Step to the carpet and get the bulk of the team. And as long as they didn't attack or cast a spell, they went invisible, I was going to get them to the door. And then I was going to systematically get to the other two and get them to the door one way or the other.
Yeah.
And the whole reason behind doing the plan was because JD's backstory of being in the military and the leave no man behind policy, this was his fault as far as how he looked at it, because he was told about it, he addressed the party with it, they went through with it, and everybody was looking like they could die. So his mindset was, let's get them the hell out of here.
So JD took it upon himself to get everybody out because he felt that if somebody died, he would be at fault.
That he was the reason they were there to begin with. So no one was dying on his watch if he could help it.
Gotcha. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you think JD would think that the Great Escape went?
For everyone with the exception of Huck, it went great. Huck, on the other hand, I mean, even used his own invisibility and still screwed himself up. So JD's is kind of like, the only person I even come close to counting as a friend right now in this whole party, it has suicidal tendencies.
You need, as JD, to mount a steering wheel onto Huck so that when you're on his back, not only do you have a precipice or anything to stand on, but you've got control in case something happens.
He's like shoulder bike handles.
I just want handlebars
and a belt
on each side of coming out of his head. And when I pull, he just goes whichever way I pull.
Also, no, Chad, I want to see JD get into his chest and he becomes like a mech.
I mean, if you let us pull that off, Diz, I'll tinker something.
So you want JD to be basically a Power Ranger and Huck to become the Megazord.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Please.
Nice. Here for him.
Well,
now
it'd be like the
5 halflings controlling a huge robot.
I mean, it would be like the Red Ranger, right? In the second season when he shows up in that one humanoid robot.
Oh yeah.
And that would be me and Huck. hit a button, his chest plate opens, I hop in, close it up, and all right, Huck, I'm piloting you now. Shut down. And then I'm doing his shit.
So now we've created a new enemy. Instead of 3 kobolds in a trench coat, we've got 5 halflings in a mech.
I mean,
I like it. Stay tuned, chat. Also, in case Chad is wondering, an alternative name for the dust of invisibility or the dust of disappearing can also be John Cena's dandruff.
I didn't hear the music play when I threw it in the air, though.
That's true. We missed a thing. We need it next time we use it. We need a sound bite. That way, when you throw it, it goes, John Cena!
Yeah, the somatic part of the spell is this. It's
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And then you
But,
fade
I'm
away.
like I throw it and then I put my hand in front of my face and then you just watch me disappear.
There you go.
I'm here
There you
for
go.
it.
New marketing thing, WWE. We know you're watching.
I'm down for that. I'll do that next time. Be like, can't see me.
There you
Yeah.
go. Timmy, this was
Whoa.
your first encounter with your brand new out of the box, fresh character. First time you've ever been in battle with
Yeah.
this character. Tell me a little bit about that. How was this character? Because this character is different than the character that you played in the other campaign that Sly was doing.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how it went for you, what your mindset was, how everything went. Do you think that you were ready for it, that you had everything down on this character? Because just 2 episodes ago, I didn't. So tell me a little bit about it. How was your first go with this character?
So honestly, like I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with Kaylin so far, you know. She runs pretty smoothly from what I've found so far. I had some pretty good rolls with her, pretty good attacks. Personality wise, I'm loving the way that I'm kind of building her. Well, I'm
Mhm.
gonna start to build her.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty much ever since I got the green light for this character, I've just been running through like different scenarios in my head, like, you know, trying to build an actual personality for her.
Mhm.
And I've ran through a little bit with, like, you know, a few people in the party, you know, how she might be, you know, who she, you know, those sort of things. And I think the party's gonna really enjoy her. At least that is the absolute hope. She's just gonna be a good time and a great support to the team.
I think so as well. And just to refresh everybody, tell them what Kaylin is as far as race and class.
She is a half elf barbarian.
There you go. So do you like the barbarian so far?
So far, yeah. I didn't really get to do too terribly much in that encounter, since it was more focused on, you know, getting the party out of there.
Mhm.
You know, I helped pull Huck out of that room. I might have frightened him a little bit, since he had no idea he was being pulled by an invisible person.
Yeah.
Kind of went along with it. But like once I start to get more into her, you know, a couple of sections, I think she'll be fantastic. I'm already loving her as is.
Well, that's good. Yeah. When I'm making a character, I try to pick my racing class first.
Mhm.
And then once I have that, I try to pick a personality.
Yeah.
And then I try to pick a voice that matches the personality and the character. And I think the more you do that, the more you practice with it, then the more you like that character.
Oh yeah.
Because personally, I had a ball with Andros.
I had a
and-
ball with Andros.
I think the problem was everybody had a ball with Andros. And
I did not.
and that's true. That's true. Bayo did not. But and I think I'm going to have fun with Corlin, my gnome, in Buck's campaign, just because I kind of went with Corlin the same way that I did with Andros. I knew what I wanted to play, then I kind of filled in the blanks from there of how I wanted to play them. And it's probably, I think, the way you're explaining that's the same thing you did with Kaylin.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping that you have a great time with Kaylin.
Oh yeah, I've got a lot of things in the works for Kaylin, both for the game and there's a few surprises here probably within like next month or so.
I like surprises.
Oh, you're gonna
Be
love
careful when you tell the DM that you have surprises. They'll try to surprise you right back.
it. Oh, I ain't telling him anything.
This time there'll be 6 vampires. All right, that's a deep cut, chat. Go to !NerdTube and hit that link and check out past episodes of Not Actually Heroes Cataclysm, and you'll get that reference. All right, so Lady K,
Hello.
how you doing? How you been?
Yeah, I'm much better than I was at the beginning of our episode on Saturday. So yeah.
That is true. That is true. Well, first off, thanks for the raid. Appreciate it.
Of course.
Everybody, if you're not following her, please go and follow Lady Chaotic right now.
Also, like follow the Nerdicopia Network.
And follow us too.
Follow us.
Please.
Do it now.
Please. We need you. So congratulations on not being dead.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Yeah. I promised you before that Sir Eldrick would not let you die.
We made it.
I think he fulfilled that promise with the help of Josh's fire elemental and Yarman's fire elemental and Buck's great escape and everybody else doing well. We were able to get through there and you didn't die. You did have some problems though.
Yeah.
You kind of want to explain to everybody how Adara fared in the last episode?
Yeah. So beginning of the episode, Adara had already had 3 points of exhaustion. So I had half movement speed, I had disadvantage on all ability checks, and I had disadvantage on all attack rolls, and what was the other one? Something else.
You were blind.
Saving throws.
No, saving throws. Saving
Yeah,
throws.
saving throws. Yeah.
So there's literally nothing that I could roll at that point that wasn't at disadvantage. And that's a big deal for a caster. Like it's really hard because it really took me, I feel like, at first out of the game. And within the first 30 seconds of the episode, I got hit really, really hard with a critical.
Yes.
I had 1 HP. One HP after
That's
that
true.
critical hit. And I was very, very sad. I was like, that's it. She's so dead. Like, there's no way she gets out of this.
I had to lay on hands to an invisible person, chat.
Yeah. It was, he grabbed the tail. It's fine.
I apologized first.
So, the beginning of the episode, I was really nervous. Once we got invisible, I was like, okay, this is good. However, once I learned about the, you not being able to cast, I was like, well, crap. Like, what am I going to do? And granted, like I said, like, there's not a whole lot for me to do with where I was at, but I knew with like having firewall in my kit, I was like, I have to use this. And so I had to really contemplate whether or not like it was worth risking losing that invisibility or not. And in that moment, I just really felt like, as crazy as it may seem, like that barrier was extremely, extremely important to help us hopefully get out. I was never planning on I honestly didn't want to have to fight all of them because I was afraid that I wouldn't be helpful whatsoever. So, and with being squishy, what are you going to do? You can't defend yourself. Can't do a whole lot. So, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna have to break this invisibility automatically and throw this down, and hopefully it helps us in however that may be. And then, I also got blinded again, and then, so I was invisible and blind. That was a little complicated.
Yes.
But luckily my level up really helped me out. So my character is a wizard who does divination, and she has what's known as a third eye. It was an ability that she gained from the level up from the previous episode, and it allows you to see people within 10 feet of you who are invisible. So
Nice.
it was kind of nice because at least like she was blind, so she couldn't see, and everybody was invisible. And I was like, well, now what do we do? And I was like, well, is her third eye blind? Like, can I see invisible people? And that actually worked out, I think, for her a little bit, because it allowed her to have some kind of vision of the people around her. Otherwise, I think she'd kind of just be like, help. Somebody get me out.
Yep. But the good thing, you did not die.
Did not die. We did. We managed. Just
I'm
squeezed it.
pretty sure she thought she was dead, Chad.
I really did.
Pretty sure.
The
It's not
critical hit.
close.
The critical hit was really where I was like, oh, I'm not getting out of this.
Yep. That is true. All right, so all of our characters were down there. Things were going rough. And then all of a sudden, bam, help arrived in two forms. Right? So we had Josh's character appeared at the doorway on the other side of the door. By the way, chat, the door was also covered in vines. So we couldn't get out until we got rid of the vines. So Josh's character arrived and basically wild shaped into a fire elemental, went through the door, and then started whooping ass on a bunch of vines and stuff. But then Stanasi and Kyrie showed up with a table, drinking in the middle of the floor, and joined into combat. So, Timmy, what'd you think about them bamfing into the middle of the room?
Kaylin had no idea what was even going on anymore, man. Like, this is her first like little excursion with this party. She doesn't know what's going on. The whole way down into that area, she discovered they're kind of a strange bunch as is. And then from then on, things just got more and more strange. And then she kind of has an inkling that they might just be bad luck. Because, first encounter with them, met with a plant demon thing, near death, just bodies all around. And then you got people just poofing into the battlefield out of nowhere. Like, how do you explain that? how do you explain that?
Middle ages for magic.
Yeah, Kaylin's just a little dumbfounded. She doesn't know. She doesn't even know how to piece this all together.
Fair. Lady.
Yes.
When you saw that help had arrived,
so
did you get happy?
No, because I didn't see anything happen because I was blind. So at some point, like, I made my way to a corner and I was just like, I'm just trying to stay out of the way. Like, I had to try and be as cognizant as I could of her being blind because, obviously I can see what's going on, but she doesn't know. She can hear things and that sort of thing, but she can't actually see the battlefield or where people are. And so like as we were moving around, like because I could see you guys who were invisible, I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna try and make my way towards the door. So I kind of pushed past you guys and like walked along the edge of the wall. And I tried to keep her in a sense and tried to keep in mind like you can't really see anything. You don't really know what's happening. You can only see who's invisible, and that's it. They're like floating people in the dark.
Yep.
And so I really had to, in my mind at that point, I think that she would have been in a lot of fear. Because what do you do at that point? You're invisible, you're trying to escape, you also can't see. So one of the things that like I find funny thinking back about it is like when they bamfed in, she had no idea. she didn't know what the sound was. She had no idea who it was. I'm assuming it knew that the room got really hot when Josh arrived and the other fire elemental appeared. And like, that's all she knew. Like, so at that point, I think she kind of cloistered up and just was like, I'm just somebody help, like, get me out of here. I can't do anything. And she was really at kind of the risk of the party at that point because she didn't really have any other options. She couldn't really do anything else. Even if she wanted to cast the spell, she couldn't have because she couldn't see anybody to cast it on.
Yeah. I imagine using your third eye is kind of like, Frodo putting on the ring with the ring wraiths. I imagine that's kind of what it looked like.
It's just like dark and float. What could I see? I could see a couple
Yeah.
of people and the floating carpet. That was
Yep.
all I could
Yep.
see.
I was gonna say, Ellen, Josh, and Stanasi were the equivalent of the Eagles are coming.
Buck, what was JD thinking when all these people started showing up? Was he happy that some reinforcements had arrived, or was he just too busy trying to execute his plan?
JD was too busy worried about getting Huck's ass to the party. He wasn't paying attention to what was going on in the rest of the room because Huck should have ran when he cast invisibility on himself and got the hell out of there. And when he didn't, JD went and saved Prugwin, and then JD went to go try to keep Huck from dying.
Yeah.
He wasn't even paying attention to the rest of the group going on. He was just focused on Huck at that point.
I mean,
It
that's
is.
par for the course, though, right?
That is Huck.
That's
Huck.
Huck, right?
100%. Diz, question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What made you have Stanasi and Kyrie appear the way that they did?
I'd already thought about it before, and if Malnox would have been there, I would have allowed Malnox to come in with them.
Yeah.
So I mean, we all know Stanasi just blinks in and out. It's kind of her thing. So I thought, we kind of used it in the other campaign where she blinked out a couple people that weren't in the session, which kind of helped us, with player management. So I thought, well, what a cool idea. What if she blinks in, but not only does she bring in other players, but she brings in items that she might be in contact with at the time. So I thought, well, maybe she was actually just, clinking glasses with Kyrie, and at that point it happened, and it just sucked in the chairs and the table.
Yeah.
I kind of limited it to that. I didn't pull in like a piece of the floor or something like that.
Yeah.
But the people at that bar are going to be pissed off later.
That's true. That is true. But I just want to say I loved it. I really enjoyed that. That was a nice little flourish she did there.
I loved it.
The only part I feel sad about on that whole situation is where was the ladder? Because we could have had a TLC match with the vines.
That's true. We had tables and chairs. If we'd had a ladder.
Yeah. You guys got to buy a ladder and put it in your bag of
That's
holding.
true.
just
Next
in
time,
case.
the party versus plant people inside a steel cage.
I feel like you guys will go back at some point just to destroy them or something.
I mean, they
Take
got to do
your
something, right? The
revenge.
cleric probably thinks they're dead.
Yeah. I mean, Exire doesn't know what's going on. The cleric and everybody in Foxhole.
Oh.
And I think I said this after we played. I have never seen or heard of anybody casting teleportation circle inside of combat. That's
I'm
the first time I've
sorry.
seen that. It was amazing.
Right. Well, that brings me to my next thing is the second part of the Great Escape, which is Lady's teleportation circle.
Yeah.
So, way to pull that out of your bag of tricks.
Yes. So I luckily I had space to take something else, and it made a lot of sense for me for her because of where she comes from and how how she originally got to where you guys were to begin with. She took a teleportation circle to get here. So it really just fit into her story well.
Mhm.
I felt like I didn't really I didn't know if it would work or be helpful whatsoever. I also didn't have any clue where we would end up or go. So like in a way it was kind of a risk, but I was a little afraid of us going back the way we came because I already had 3 points of exhaustion, and just trying to go back through that same stuff, like I was like, I already have disadvantage on all these rolls. Like
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
probably not gonna survive. Like I honestly was like, if we really do have to climb back out of here, I'm probably not making it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's one of those anywhere is better than here
yeah, and I
moments.
didn't know if we could pull it off or not, to be honest. And the fact that we were able to keep back a majority, including the boss in the room, as far away from us as possible was very key, I think, in us getting out of there with all the abilities that we had. So we tripled up on the walls and
Yeah.
tried
And
to.
then Yarman had his fire elemental guard the door
Mhm.
so that they could
And
go through.
I'm so sorry, Diz, but I had to counterspell that last spell. As soon as you were like, he go, and I'm like, no, we're just counterspelling it. We're
Nah.
leaving. I'm not doing this. Like,
Hey, when in doubt, counterspell.
I was like, we gotta go. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, we're out of here. I'm over here drawing circles and triangles and shit on the floor. We're
Oh my
out
god, the
with
crayon.
crayons.
Did you like the crayon? Diz, did you like the crayon?
I love so
Yes.
many moments of everything that kind of transpired there. It's just I could do a top 10 list of what I enjoyed in
Also-
that encounter.
Probably the first teleportation circle drawn in crayon.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I was like, oh, what is she gonna draw this with? And I was like, oh my god, I have the crayons. I was like, this is perfect. It's a good little callback to such a funny moment where we were making fun of Yarman coloring. And I was
Yep.
like, oh yeah, this will be good. A blind cat drawing a teleportation circle with crayons. Top key comical.
I also like we stopped for a second and had a discussion about whether the crayon would be invisible and would it draw invisible crayon markings on the floor.
Oh yeah, we have to debate that now.
Exactly, as one does in the middle of D&D.
It was a good question. I thought it was intriguing. I was very intrigued.
It was. I liked everybody. Everybody seemed to have a little bit of a different answer. So
I think it would be
very good.
invisible. That's how I feel. Because I feel like if you were invisible and you had a dagger and you dropped the dagger would still be invisible on the floor until the spell wore off.
There you go.
But
Well, but if you remember, we did discuss she was no longer invisible. She was just blind because Huck
True.
casted invisibility on her and
Yeah,
he went
that's true.
unconscious.
Yeah, that's
So-
what ended the discussion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was that we realized she was no longer invisible.
yeah,
Oh, look, you can see me.
true.
But if you want to ask about invisible crayons and give your thoughts join the Discord there in chat and go down to the D&D discussions and talk about your theory of invisible crayons and their proper usage in a dungeon. So, okay, last formal question. Using the teleportation circle, got through there. Everybody healed up as much as we could. Landed, didn't know where we were. Turns out we landed in a temple of Anwar in El Toro.
Which lady forgot that's where we were supposed to go.
Exactly. I wasn't going to bring that up.
I'll be
But-
honest with you, because of the way it was spelled, it didn't really like when you sent it to me, it didn't like trigger the name at all.
Right.
And
Mhm.
so when I read it, I was like, well, I don't know where this is. I was like, I don't know. And so, you know, out of the two options that this gave me, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna let the dice decide because she's in a panic anyway. She doesn't know. She at this point, she's just like, get me the hell out of here. You
Right.
know, don't care where it goes, just take me somewhere. So the fact that, you know, we rolled for it and that's where we ended up, part of me kind of wishes maybe we had gotten the other one because it would have led to more of my character's backstory, but that's okay.
Buck, we're in El Toro now at a Temple of Anwar. What are your thoughts on what's going to happen now?
Well, I mean, to start with, that's why JD brought it up to Doris, like, oh, well, you got us here quicker than we probably might have got here using an airship room. But hearing that the guards are rude or, I guess, kind of out for themselves in a way. JD does know, because me and Diz discussed it. JD does know some of the guardship there because of what I did in the past. So that may be a little easier for JD to be okay with because he kind of knows the reputation of what's going on in this place. But as far as going to the keep, that's going to present a whole new ball game of challenges because I have a feeling JD is going to have to get one of those kitty backpacks with a leash on it and hook it to Huck. That way he can keep up wherever the hell Huck's going in this keep because it's going to get bad.
Yeah. So do you think, since you know that you're in a town where there's a presence of Anwar, and this is the first time we've been in an area where Anwar is very prolific, he's got a temple, do you think that Sir Eldrick and Yarman will be a benefit? Or do you think that it could cause problems?
Well, see, that could go either way, right? The town has this temple. How many people in the town actually care about this deity and agree with it? So that could potentially throw hostility our way. If they are okay with that deity, then we should be fine. Little curious as to what the priestess wants us to try to help her with when we're done with our reason for being there, because she's talking about potentially misplacing or him being taken or lost or whatever, the head guy of the temple. So she doesn't know where he's at, and now she's turning to Eldrick to figure it out, which then will fall to the rest of us to help him figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much I trust priestesses anymore after that last encounter.
She didn't know.
I don't know.
What do you think, Timmy?
See, Kaylin, she's not a big fan of religion in general. So being the fact that she was sent by a priestess into that dungeon, as a job, and she about lost her life. Being teleported to a completely new temple when she already doesn't like religion, it kind of puts a sour taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
So she doesn't like her predicament that she's in. She's just happy and relieved to at least still be alive. And
Mhm.
she needs a good drink.
At this point, I think they all do. To be fair.
All you gotta do is ask JD. He's got a good drink.
Yeah, Dara might become really close friends with JD here really soon after that encounter.
Yep. Yep. All right, chat. Now it's the moment of the episode where everything is open. So, chat, if you have a question that you would like to ask any member of the forum here, please do so in chat. You can ask about the campaign. You can ask about their character, what they think about D&D. If they have a good recipe for sauce, whatever you want to ask. Also, players, DM, now is the time that you can ask each other questions as well.
I
So
do have a
please.
good recipe for sauce. If you want to get drunk on the sauce,
Hey. JD's sauce recipe, is that what it is?
sort of. It's a single barrel recipe, not
Oh.
necessarily JD's. It's been handed down.
So I have a question.
Oh boy.
All right.
Are you guys excited to be in a new city or not?
Yes.
I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with the way it kind of like the way we had to play it out, right? Because the one thing I thought about when we finally got to this new place was, damn, we didn't get paid for all that crap we did out there. You know, we didn't get anything from it. I mean, granted, it put us closer towards our destination of where we wanted to go anyways. So I feel like it did kind of expedite what we were doing a little bit.
Mhm.
But I also don't know if we 100% like felt like we had closed things off back in Foxhole. Like I feel like there was still a lot of things kind of left untouched. And I kind of hate that a little bit because like I don't like hanging things, you know, like I'm just like, "Oh, I can't think it, you know, especially because one Exire is still there somewhere
That is
and
true.
has no idea where anybody is. If anything, if he talks to the priestess, he's gonna think we're all dead.
Yep.
So, I mean, we're kind of like at a really weird point because the priestess probably also thinks we're dead.
Yep.
Because nobody's come back out, and neither did we.
That is true.
So Timmy, you haven't experienced any other cities yet, but are you excited to be in El Turo? What would your player think about being in like a new city? Because I don't think she would have probably been here before. So
So as you and I kind of built her, she's done her fair bit of traveling, trying to gather information. She doesn't mind being in a new city. You know, she takes it normally with a grain of salt. You know, if they've her main focus is do they have good food and good drink? That's really it. That well, at least that's at the top of her list. She's very social. She very much likes interacting with people. So that's definitely a bonus. You know, if the people are friendly or not. Since she's already kind of got wind that some of the people of El Toro aren't necessarily the most welcoming. That's kind of a scratch off her list of enjoying this town. So we'll see how things play out. You know, she's not a big fan of the aggressive guards, so
Mhm.
that's gonna be a thing.
This city, I think I described it as being kind of downtrodden, very depressed looking, just the city itself. Like the streets probably aren't swept, very well, or there's
Yeah.
garbage in different places. Like it's just like almost like people don't care here.
Yeah.
Ill kept.
Seen
Yeah.
better days.
Definitely. So what about JD? Is he might have even been to El Toro at some point, but maybe not. So a bit out of the way for him, maybe. So
Well, that one would depend on how far the military unit he was attached to would have traveled
mhm.
to know if he'd have been there. Because, we both know that he's set up as a recon sniper. So he would have been front line going in before anybody else to check the surroundings. So if he'd been there, then he would have secretly been there. They wouldn't have really noticed him if he had a chance to get in and out. As far as like us leaving things potentially uncompleted with the church, JD knows they have to go back to Waterdeep to complete the task and get the information that he needs to complete the mission he started on at the beginning of the game or the campaign. So
Mhm.
he's not worried about the temple as much, because if somebody else comes in and cleans up what they started, then fine.
Mhm.
If they don't, and they're still needed to go back down and try to rectify that, then they'll be back eventually because of the task they're on at present. When we start the next episode, if JD sees any of the other people that he knows of in that town, then he may potentially strike a conversation with them. Whereas most of the other people would probably look at them and be like, I don't really want to have anything to do with that section of military. But, JD's different than most of the rest of the group because he served and been in all kinds of mess that some of the other people haven't ever seen.
Mhm.
So he's always down to go to a new town. But can we discuss the one elephant in the room from last episode?
Sure.
Sure.
JD never pulled his gun or fired a shot. He didn't attack anything but one vine to get Progwood free.
Yep.
That's not
And
JD.
he had a sword out most of the time.
He did.
So,
You took
Yep.
quite a good bumping from a couple of those enemies that kept walking into you.
I had to save Huck.
Yeah.
so
They took me from 100 HP to 20 just saving Huck.
that session, I think you guys saw it as a battle, right? Or an encounter. I saw it as a growing episode. Like bonds were forming into the party. Like it was like JD was actually, I don't know that he would have risked his life for Huck in another situation. Maybe not. I don't know.
Well, like I said,
But he
Huck's
felt-
about the closest thing JD has to a friend.
Yep. And he felt responsible, right?
And so that's
Well-
why he did what he did. But if you notice, the only people he really attempted to save was Prugwin and Huck, because that's the only two he actually knows that were
Mhm.
there. He casts invisibility to get everybody else able to run away. But the only two people he truly knew for over a year now are the two that weren't in invisibility, and he had to try to get them out
Mhm.
because they mean somewhat something to him.
And while you were doing that, there were other people that you had more recently met helping you do that. Even from a distance.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
that
like,
wind wall
you
was
know-
put up and stuff. And
Yeah, Prugwin with the wind wall, but I mean, like, Kalen went in and grabbed Huck out of the room. And JD's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, at least I have eyes on Huck. And then there goes Prugwin into that same room. And JD's like, well, I guess we're running into that room to get Prugwin out because I'm about the only one that can.
and Kyrie, Stanasi, and Morwen all stepped up and put themselves right in the way to kind of block the way. So,
And if you notice, as we stepped out the door, I put JD's character pretty much close to the doorway. Like, I'll
Yeah.
fight in the front line, even though I'm hurting more than most of the people standing here,
mhm.
because that was his thoughts was, I got to get my team out of here because this is my fault.
I thought it was amazing, and I'm really excited to be in El Toro myself. It's a place that in the first campaign that party had visited, and um it's almost like night and day from where it was. It's supposed to be like this shining bastion of hope, uh, and it's just the opposite now.
A lot,
It's
of shit happened in 1,000 years.
fall on yeah bad times. So I'm
Yep.
curious how much you guys will dig into what's going on and stuff like that, or maybe you'll get wrapped up in something else and you won't have time for it. But
I feel like JD and Kyrie have a lot of tasks that they may be doing solo missions on, or well, not solo, but co-op missions on, because they're the stealthiest of the bunch.
Mhm.
They may have to go and check things out in areas that the others would be noticed too easily on.
So I'm excited. And what about the keep? What was the name of it again?
Nope,
Anybody?
nope.
Nobody.
Russ ain't here.
Oh,
That's
The
his job.
good keep El Tauntaun of the motherfucking hills.
yeah. I'm excited to see that place again. So
Yep. Me too.
And Diz knew good darn well when he mentioned what's the name of the keep, and I said that's our business. Diz knew I had it written down, but I wasn't going to say it.
no.
Dun, dun, dun.
Which that's
I'm
what JD would have done anyways. It's none of her business what
No, it's
tasks
not,
they're
yeah.
on. So JD's like, it's none of your business.
He is very secretive, yeah. So
Yeah.
I was waiting for her to kick us out of the temple at that point. Like, I'm trying to be like, I'm so sorry I used your portal. Like, I know we weren't scheduled to be here, but like, and he's like, it's none of your business. I was like, she's gonna throw us out. So
I mean,
fast.
to be completely fair, my words were our business is our own.
Yeah.
yeah.
And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna direct you in the and JD's just kind of like, no.
Now we're good.
So when you said that line as JD, I was thinking of this right here. You can't see it. It's the,
No, you
the
can't see
Hobbit.
it.
I've got,
Oh, I
You're
know.
gonna-
I
I've
know.
got the Hobbit right here. Yeah, I was thinking of when they get to what's it called? That first little town they get to. That's in the Lord of the Rings actually. So I was thinking of hobbits though.
Yeah, you were thinking about when they got to the prancing pony and Frodo said our business is our own when
Yeah.
they were looking for Gandalf.
All right,
I
all
didn't-
right. Didn't mean to
I didn't
offend.
mean no offense. Yeah. and then that guy gets crushed later by the door.
Oh my god.
All right. Does anyone have any other questions? Chat.
How
Beeps.
likely did you think that I was gonna go down in that fight?
I think there was a good like 80-85% chance that you were gonna at least hit the ground.
Yeah,
but
me
never
too.
did.
I did not. I cannot. I was so shocked when I was like 1 hit point. I was like, oh my god. I was like, this is the end, chat. This right here. It's gonna go down. I was actually very shocked by the end of the episode that we all made it out
Yeah.
And
really
what-
pretty
what
unscathed. Other than Huck,
Well, to be fair, when Huck went invisible and then went behind that guy and said he was going to cast a spell, I messaged Clan and I was like, son of a bitch.
Mhm.
Because I
Yep.
knew it was coming.
Mhm.
And I was like, now I've got to sit here and get him out of this.
JD, was
And-
your go?
I was just
Was it
gonna
your
say-
plan to run out of the temple, like to go back out? Because that's what Lady was afraid of.
My plan was to get everybody out of that room and then assess the situation one way or the other.
Mm.
And so, knowing that everyone was exhausted, I figured we were probably going to have to go a few rooms back and potentially set up fortifications and hold them off until everybody could get rested enough to be able to get out of there. That was the initial plan, was to get everyone out the door and then fall back a few rooms and assess what we needed to do to figure out how to get out.
To be honest, that's where I thought your character was gonna possibly just die, straight out die,
hmm
is in the escape.
I had a very big fear that if we did not kill everything, that our escape would probably kill me. Because,
Mm.
like I said, with the rolls being disadvantage on everything, like there was
Yep.
really nothing to make it any better. Like, it was a big risk. Not only did I have a hard time getting down here to begin with, but now I'm at 3 levels of exhaustion and I have now like a 50% chance less to succeed making it back out. And I was
Yeah.
like, I just don't think that we're gonna make that at all.
So if we'd have put Adara in the portable hole,
Huh.
could we have carried her out of there without her dealing with exhaustion on having to make other rolls?
Well, she would have immediately been in an environment that is very inhospitable. So I think she would have probably started to freeze at that point and suffocate.
Yep.
I mean, but you said we could use the portable hole for like crafting purposes.
You can use it for storage of things for sure, but most of those extra planar things, they aren't meant for people to be put in there.
So we just throw the fire elemental and Adara in there, and then she won't freeze.
Yeah, she might burn to death. But
She might
yeah,
burn to death.
That's true.
I got fur, man. That's not a good idea.
That's
she
true.
come out just singed.
Kind
get
of smelling like
traumatized.
burnt hair.
We just use greater restoration on her. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, that was definitely my biggest concern. Was really getting back. I actually was less scared about fighting what was down there than I was turning around and going back. Because I was like, okay, cool, JD's gonna get us out of this room, but like, then what? Like that was in my mind. I was like, now what do we do? Like,
Well, part of assessing the situation though would have been, even if we stayed at the door for a while, we could have funneled them through and took out as many as possible trying to funnel through the door.
Yeah, but didn't he generate more?
Yeah, but he generated babies. Like I'm pretty sure
mean,
they have
yeah.
to mature.
But there were no, because he generated what, 4 small ones and 2 of the medium ones.
No, just 4 small ones.
Yeah, 4 small
We
ones
never
Just
we
4
never
small
killed
ones.
the big ones.
that you could see
Yeah.
were generated.
So yeah, I don't know.
But I mean,
But-
he was the main focus. If he would have got to the door and kept fighting.
If we
He'd have
wanted
been
to
JD's main
rest
focus.
there, I can't imagine that we still wouldn't have had to roll those checks though. I mean, you're still in that environment, whether you're resting or you're leaving.
Yeah. Unless you had some type of something like they have on Critical Role where they go into a mansion or
Well,
some type
JD
of
doesn't
dome
have
that might protect
Baeo's.
them.
Yeah.
Jay doesn't have Baeo's rod that allows him to go for X number of days into a magic fantasy realm that no one can get into.
Exactly.
Yeah, where was that mimic chest at? I would appreciate it. Like, hey, take me with you. I don't care what's on the other side at this point. Anything's better than here.
I feel like every time JD took damage, Diz had a little part in his soul. He was like, "Is this finally the episode? Is this it?" He said, "Am I gonna kill the unkillable?"
It's all right.
Slippery.
Y'all know I burned an action surge just to get Prugwin the hell out of there.
I like that. I really like that sequence of what all you burn to get
Because
all
I was
that
like, I'm
taken
gonna
care of.
break this vine and then burn action surge to get him the hell out of this.
Yeah, I
And
like
then
that a
this
lot.
is like, you got hit. I'm like, second win. All right, let's get Prugwin the hell out of this door.
Russ will play his character, even
Yes.
to
Oh,
the
yeah.
death.
Oh, I know, which would be
So-
to JD's detriment wholeheartedly.
I'm really like looking forward to at some point Adara really like taking him at like to teach him more about what he can do, because she studies magic, like that's what she does. She learns, and she used to be an arcane advisor to a king, so like I feel like, she's gonna at some point realize, I don't think he really knows what he's doing. And like just teaching him some things and sharing some of those spells and being like, you can do this, and like just having that moment with him where it kind of hopefully helps him develop a new sense of what he is.
Yeah.
I'm like excited for that point where she finally kind of like realizes what's going on there and is like, what are you doing?
And I wasn't kidding, Diz, when I asked if I could go mounted combatant feat and count as riding Huck. Because I feel like JD's going to have to do that to get Huck the hell out of situations. Because if I climb on his back and I get to count that, then everything's fighting me. And he doesn't have to take damage.
That's great as a wizard.
Yeah.
Because JD has the ability to dodge a lot of shit because of how high my dex is to be able to kind of block some of that. But then, I know that Huck will still take AoE damage. There's no way I can prevent him from shit like that. But
Yeah.
How did you feel about over half of your creatures not being able to really participate in that moment? like were you like okay with that? Did you not really care kind of how it worked out? Were you kind of like, all right, well, I guess this guy's like stuck back here doing nothing?
So being a DM, when you first start as a DM, if you're not a compassionate person to begin with, you have to start to kind of become one, because I mean, you lose more than you win always. Otherwise, the game doesn't last that long. So I'm used to bad things happening to my creatures. I have learned that I don't put huge backstories into certain enemies because it's just a disappointment. But yeah, I'm kind of used to it at this point. I was really excited that I didn't know anybody had wall of fire. I didn't know anybody had wind wall either. So seeing those used that way, I was actually excited, because especially after seeing that critical hit on you, I was like, well, she's gonna fall, and then it's gonna kind of domino because they're gonna try to save her instead of continue to fight, and then they're just gonna go down one at a time here, probably. But I was like, yeah, that was a good move of just the wall of fire. They had no way of getting around it.
I honestly
Yeah.
think without those walls that we all had, like that teleportation would have never worked.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't have really enjoyed it because I put as much time as you do into your characters. But I would have killed the characters. I would have beat them to the ground. Yes, or maybe something else. Maybe turn them into plant zombies or something.
Oh, jeez.
For the next group that comes down.
Exactly.
Just
You're gonna see like this plant thing coming out, and it's got one like cat ear sticking up.
some short one that has like a barrel for a hand.
Yep.
Like, oh,
All right, so
dang.
now we need to commission an art piece of all of us as plant zombies.
There you go.
Just saying, if
Nice.
anybody knows an artist out there,
What's up?
made some fan art.
That
Plant
these,
Yep, there you
these,
go.
these two have these gents have been looking for new emotes. You just gave them their emotes.
So were you
Yeah.
expecting me to do what I did this at the start of that?
I thought you were going to try to get them out of there. I didn't know you were going to go to the extent that you went. I thought when Huck broke invisibility, you would have been like, all right, I tried. See you later. But you stayed there to the end. So, which isn't completely out of character, for him at all. So, but I did kind of expect JD to kind of give up on Huck at some point.
No, he was the main one that I wouldn't have given up on out of the whole party.
Yeah.
And since he's the one that got stuck there, I was like, gosh dang it. I'm gonna take an ass whooping right here just to get him out.
Look, man,
Well.
I had the plan. Like, I didn't know that Huck had the ability was able to turn invisible himself. So, like, my original plan was I was gonna try to drag Huck around until we got to the exit. That was my plan. And then I was like, oh, he can turn invisible. All right, best of luck to you.
Well, the only problem with that, Timmy, was when you drug him out, you drug him the wrong way. You drug him back towards the carpet, which was right in the middle of the whole firefight.
Well, I was trying to keep him at least close to the party rather than, you know, having him be off by himself again. Because the
gotta
only
keep a
other
hold of him.
person in that area was
That's true.
God, who was his name? Prugwin.
Prugwin.
He was the only other one like kind of off by himself. So it was either take him down to Prugwin or keep him with you guys where he has a better chance of survivability. At least that was my initial thought. You know.
You know what?
And
I just thought of
she doesn't know the party dynamic at all. So
Yeah.
it's like she doesn't know any
That's
of
true.
the characters. So
I didn't know y'all had earpieces. I didn't know y'all were communicating with each other. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was just grabbing Huck and trying to survive.
Pretty
Oh.
much everybody but the female characters of the party have earpieces.
Yeah,
Yep,
we should
and you
fix
guys
that
are
in
in
Elko.
you're in a new town, yeah. So it's a pretty good sized city.
We
Because
might need to look into
Stanasi
that.
doesn't even have one that's linked to us.
Actually, all of the every female
That's
character
what I
in the
said, every
campaign, every one of us, including Galen. That's hilarious.
That was not planned.
No.
I just
This
realized
happened
it
that
though. I was
way.
like, oh. There's one last thing that I just remembered. That instance where, you know, Clan tried to let the blind cat drive the carpet. It's like, yeah, I don't really want to move the carpet. I don't know where anybody wants to go. And I'm like, I can't drive. I'm blind. Which obviously I didn't say anything at that point in time because, like, you know, I didn't want to metagame or change your decision. But I was like, oh, Clan. I was like, because I knew you had forgotten that it had happened. And I feel like a
Oh,
lot
I
of
saw
people,
your face.
a lot of people kind of forgot that it had happened. And I was like, oh no.
Well, my thing was this. It was, okay, so do I move the carpet closer to the exit, or do I keep the carpet there where people can hop on and then we all try to move towards the exit together? And then when it, you know, that turned, it was like I didn't do anything. And then, you know, it's the second, if looks could kill, I would be dead. Because one thing I found out about Lady, if you ever want to know what she's thinking about you at that moment, just look at her. And she was thinking that I should be one dead fat man.
Listen,
Because
she has a little bit of a grudge against you right now for very clear reasons.
exactly. I was like, I can't let her, you know, me myself, I'm like, I can't let her die because she's gonna hold it against me personally that she's dead. And as such, one of the spells I took when I leveled up was resurrection, so that if you did die, I could bring you back.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so when it became clear that no one but us was coming back to the carpet, then I moved along the wall there to get us out of the thick of things.
I was like,
then-
oh man.
Towards part of it, I jumped off of the carpet just so I could give things another target to hit. Because everybody was trying, you know, at that point you had walked away from me and was heading towards the door. And I didn't want him to attack you. So I hopped off and I think I cast something so that I became visible. That way the vines and stuff would see me in all my glory and not go after anybody at the door.
Yarman was the one that they were all targeting at that point.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I had Yarman cast his fire elemental.
And when I first got to that corner, I was still invisible. So on my way over there, it's when I was actually in the corner, that's when Huck dropped and the concentration dropped, and then I was visible. So I honestly don't think us catching that mattered, because I don't think anything there where I was could or would have targeted me. Because there were so many other people around me in the way. And then once the fire elementals came in, the vines were like, nah, we're good. They went back into the room.
Well,
That was
that's
really, I think,
why-
the closest thing to us. So
That's why I had the one fire elemental appear behind the vine, because I was afraid the vine was going to come out and attack me.
Yeah.
And then, or the vine was going to come out and see you.
Yeah.
And try to go after you. So luckily, the fire elemental kept its attention.
I just
Actually-
felt it was funny when Diz was like, I was like, Diz, I want to run in that room and save Prugwin. And he's like, all right, Buck, I need a dex save to see if you make it under the carpet. I was like, you said the carpet's 5 feet tall. I'm not even 4 feet.
that was awesome. I loved that so much. You're like, yeah, it's hovering at 5 feet. I'm only 3 something. Like, here we
I'm
go. or
3'6".
Yeah.
Like, I ain't
like-
touching that thing.
JD Limbo champion 5 years running.
That was great. I loved that. And then Caitlin also
Oh.
ran through the carpet and clipped it. I forgot about you smacking your head off the carpet.
Yeah.
She is tall, friends. She is tall.
Ain't nobody got time to dodge that carpet.
Invisible car. I was waiting for everybody to jump off of it, and then you guys forget where it was at.
Well, I
Hey,
could have
I-
seen it, so it would. I could have eventually found it.
I used my brain meat.
Those those javelin attacks were my first ever actual ranged attacks outside of the little crossbow or whatever the hell it was that Kodan had.
Yeah.
That was slamming the glaive
You
into
got-
the ground, pulling them out.
You got a natural 20 on that first one, though, didn't
I did.
Mhm. Yeah,
you? Yeah.
yeah, that was a good one. I liked that. a
Very
lot.
nice.
I did learn something in this encounter, though.
What did you learn, Buck?
JD will never pull his sunblade out to be light source for any of you fucks ever again. He will stealth everywhere he's going, so he is not the primary target.
Oh man.
Because Diz went after me because I was the light source.
Yeah.
Will not
I-
happen again.
Never again. Oh, that's awesome. It was a good episode.
It
Oh,
was.
very good.
I enjoyed it. I think everyone else did that was playing that night as well. You know what? I think chat did. Anyone else, chat? With that, we're going to call it a night. We've managed to make, with less questions, we've managed to make it as long as any other episode. So
We have to be consistent.
we're able to talk a lot.
Yeah.
So with that, like I said, we're gonna call it a night. Now, announcements. Buck,
Yes.
don't you have something coming up
I do.
Saturday around 8 p.m. Eastern time?
Episode 2 of EDAR will be playing at 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Come watch
Yeah,
the
that
spookiest
shout out's
cast you
still
ever
not
did.
working.
Oh,
It's still not
well,
working yet.
well,
I get it working after, but I can't do it right this second.
hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Wait a minute. No. No, that, why ain't it work? It should be. Damn it. Anyway, okay. I was gonna say it should be working. But anyway, chat. Follow Double Op Buck at twitch.tv/Double Op Buck this Saturday. EDAR episode 2, The Search for More Dragons.
Definitely the
there's a
search for
link.
more dragons.
There you go. Yep, definitely the search for more dragons. Also, there's a bar for sale.
There's your bar for
You
sure.
didn't think I remembered that specifically, but I'm going to try to buy the bar.
Well, good luck with that, because I don't think you got enough money to buy that bar at this present
Listen,
time.
it's in a podunk town. It's fine. She just needs a
That-
couple.
Hey, just so you know, that's not a podunk town. That's the trade town at the bottom of the mountain of Orne.
She just needs a few gold to get to where she's going. It'll be fine. We'll.
I mean, y'all
we'll
done
send
gave her two.
money. We'll send her money later.
Hey, I
All right.
promise you, Valdon ain't buying that tavern. She'd sooner burn it to the ground.
All right, lady. When will you be smiting some more?
I will be smiting some more Sunday morning, starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll be playing community games on Smite on Sunday. And coming in the very near dear future, a date to come, we will be doing a charity stream for Mother of Corals. And essentially we'll be raising, the goal is $500 to help restore coral reefs. I'm super excited about it, and I'm super happy
Nice.
that somebody reached out to me to do this. So I will be posting a date for that. So keep an eye out for that. And we'll be doing that on a Sunday as well, same time around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that way we can play Smite, have some fun, and hopefully raise some money for a good cause.
Excellent. I love all of that. So be sure to
Except for
follow
Smite.
Lady Chaotic at twitch.tv/Lady Chaotic. And then, of course, Diz and I have a little thing that we do on Monday nights called Super Retro Game Show Extreme. It'll be here on this channel, twitch.tv/Nerdacopia Network, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, this coming Monday, where we will continue our 867-part playthrough of The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask, the fighting mask.
I'm making pretty good progress, I think.
You are, yes. I think you
Mike
are.
says otherwise.
I agree with you. Here's my thing. I think that this game is bullshit, much like Breath of the Wild. So I'm calling it right now.
You just got to know the
Bullshit.
mechanics, Clan.
Well, here's the mechanic. You go and do stuff. You run out of time. You reset time. You go back. You do stuff again. The game.
Not if you do it fast enough to get it done the first time.
Listen, if I want to do a Zelda speed run, I'll speed run Link to the Past.
8 hours, everything. Go.
Not play the game built on Nintendo's worst console.
Bet.
But anyway, join us Monday for Super Retro Game Show Stream. And then, of course, this coming Thursday will be Three Old Men Yelling at Cloud, where we will talk about stuff and things and have some guffaws and tell you about how all this new shit sucks and our old shit is way better because we said so.
Unless you ask Clan and he says that N64 sucks. So
The Nintendo 64 does suck. I have references.
Oh boy.
The best Nintendo console is the Super Nintendo, and I'll die on that
mean-
hill. Tell me I'm wrong.
I mean,
But this ain't the
Debatable.
place for that.
It's debatable.
Join us on Three Old Men Yelling at Cloud, where we'll talk about Nintendo's consoles.
the
There you
brick
go.
Game Boy was better.
Then the Nintendo 64, yes. So with that,
meant the Super
I
Nintendo.
am Clan Diesel. He is Dr. Diz DM. He is Double Up Buck. She is Lady Chaotic. He is Timmy Turbo. And we hope that all your rolls are nat 20s. Bye, everybody.